Welcome everyone to Cura Medicina. Today's a little different. I'm going to share with you a blog post that I wrote reflecting back over the last 5 years and realizing why psychedelics are not enough. Now, this is my journey. Your journey may be totally different, but I would pose that it's not that different and that what I'm about to share is shared by many people. So let's jump in and learn about why psychedelics are not enough. I'm going to start with a ceremony I had 5 years ago, which is a ceremony that was actually my second all-time ceremony. I had, I had been to Peru about 12 years earlier and had my first ayahuasca experience. But I took this long break for many reasons. So this is also a reminder that if you do ayahuasca and you feel like it's not quite right, it might come back later. If you would have told me after my first experience in Peru that I would continue or I would return to the medicine path a decade later, I would have said, you're crazy. So we never know. We never know what our journey is going to be like. Okay, let's jump in. So this was my second ceremony after 10 years. I had just had my mind blown after 2 nights of ayahuasca. I hadn't remembered anything about it. It wasn't my first dance, as I said, but it might well have been because I had taken this long break from this powerful plant medicine and I never really got to know her. I just had like a first date, I was about to learn why psychedelics are not enough. My childhood friend Clark, who joins me on many of my ceremonies, he had joined me for that first weekend's retreat, the ayahuasca weekend return. And we were ready to celebrate after the weekend was over. We had just done these 2 amazing ceremonies. And we returned to my place and we went straight out to a restaurant and we opened a bottle of wine. Imagine, now thinking back on that, I think that's crazy. Alcohol had been a central actor in my life for decades, and it felt appropriate in that moment to invite her in to this special occasion of celebration. Looking back now, this was the first sign that a powerful psychedelic experience isn't enough. It wasn't enough for me to break through various addictions and traumas that I had spent a lifetime developing. Ayahuasca isn't a quick fix. That's my thesis here. That's my premise. I had heard stories of people leaving alcohol after a weekend of ayahuasca, and I had secretly wanted and wished for that for myself. For years, I had journaled about my struggle with alcohol, but it would take me another full year of deep work and a lot of ceremonies and therapy before I was able to break the chains of alcohol. Those stories of miraculous awakenings inspired me to keep going, but frustrated me because I wanted a quick fix. Who doesn't want a quick fix? Ayahuasca took her sweet time with me and would require both a commitment and a willingness to do the work outside of ceremony. You can't just add more ceremonies. It doesn't work that way. I tried it, I know. I realized that my recent experience had started a sacred dance between moments of insight and hints about practice. I returned to ayahuasca frequently after that second ceremony, and I kept getting the same message over and over and over and over. Get serious about your practices outside of ceremony. Okay. Grandmother repeatedly told me to work on myself outside of ceremony. Yoga, meditation, journaling, breath work, time in nature, you name it, eating well, eating clean, and of course, leaving alcohol. I longed for a big message, for a vision of my path, but she just nudged me, and focused me towards the practice just a little bit each time I sat. This lesson hit me hard while I was in my course with Josh from the Emerald, his course, The Mythic Body, which is amazing. Josh talks about preparing the vessel of our mind, of our body, and our soul to connect with the divine energies. If it's polluted, how can we expect to connect with the divine? We are all vessels, and to receive anything divine, We need to understand the energetic traps in the body and the restlessness of the mind. How could I expect any profound healing while pouring alcohol down my throat after an ayahuasca journey? I was polluting my vessel with the behavior and dishonoring the work that I had done with grandmother, the sacred plant. She knew it. We live in a life, in a culture of pills and quick fixes for everything. Want to lose weight? Take a pill. Want to not feel depressed? Take a pill. Drugs, both legal and illegal, seemingly fix all of our problems. My dad, who is 82, takes a handful of pills to fall asleep. He's so out of it in the morning, he has to take another handful of pills to wake himself up. Bless you, Dad. I love you. What kind of life is that? I do not want that kind of life. The average person over 60 takes approximately 4 to 5 medications daily. It's not just the elderly taking medication. In the US, it's estimated between 25 and 45% of children use medications daily. Okay, of course, there are instances where medication can both improve and save a life. I totally agree with that. My point is more about our overwhelming cultural reflex to fix things with a pill or a short-term hack, just like I wanted to do. I wanted to fix my alcohol addiction with 1 weekend of ayahuasca without spending the time to understand the complexities of why. Why was I using alcohol in the first place? The matrix surrounding my addiction had deep roots in my childhood trauma, wounds that went back decades, emotions that had been sequestered into the dark places behind closed doors in my heart. I'm still learning about that. Psychedelics allow us a glimpse into our issues and traumas and shadows, but they don't fix them like a pill. Ayahuasca allowed me to unravel the enigma and shed light onto those hidden recesses in my heart. However, healing came through therapy, journaling, conversation, yoga, meditation, being with loved ones, time in nature, and deep introspection and an honest look at who I was. As I cultivated my daily practices, humility, forgiveness, and gratitude sprouted wings, and the roots of healing began to inform my new behaviors. Old patterns started to drop away, and just as the snake sheds its skin, I was birthing a new version of myself. I still am. Though I deeply support psychedelics and their usage, so deeply, I don't think psychedelics are the panacea that some claim. Psychedelics offer insights and open doors. They jumpstart new thought patterns, new neural pathways, and reboot stuck emotions. But real change demands profound work outside of the ceremony. Pointing at myself. I am a massive proponent of psychedelics. That's why I have this podcast. If you are listening to this and considering using them, I encourage you, jump in, go for it. Don't hesitate, but don't expect them to be a cure-all potion. Use them as one tool in a toolbox of modalities to get at the aspects of yourself that require care and attention, to shed some light on the shadows. We all have them. Then start to build your foundational pillars. This happens usually outside of ceremony. Since that first ceremony, my path has had 3 healthy pillars. 1, a commitment to new habits, while leaving old ones that don't serve me, like dropping alcohol. Deeper self-understanding and awareness by slowing my mind through meditation and yoga, eating well, breath work, you name it, all the modalities. And developing a relationship with the divine, cultivated through ritual and devotion, whatever that is for you, however you define that, sacred, divine, universe, God. The first 2 pillars strengthen my vessel, and the third allows me to fill my soul while connecting to the animate world that's all around us, while my heart is pointed towards this universal beauty. Yes, I thought 1 weekend of ayahuasca would untangle all the knots in my heart. Looking back 5 years later, I realize that ayahuasca helped loosen the grip around my heart, enabling me to soften enough to do the real Tai Chi is another good one to practice. Please take note that ayahuasca is more like a catalyst. It just puts you in the right direction. It's not a magic pill, and it requires us to have a post-ceremony plan that digs deeper into our shadow with non-medicine and more medicine modalities that support the unfolding of the spirit. I want to say something at the end here about an altar, because I was allergic to the feeling or the idea of an altar for most of my life. And when I started to do this work, two things really opened up for me. Well, three things. I got back to art in a big way. You see all the art around me is art I've created. I got into music for the first time in my life, and I created an altar. And I always give this recommendation to people that I meet in ceremony that don't have an altar. An altar is a place where you can go and just focus your energy. You know, you don't have to make a big deal about it. It can be a rock or a stone, or it can be a statue, or it can be a picture of a loved one, or it can be a flower, right? It can be such a simple thing. It doesn't have to be complex. You can just start with something that you feel connected to already, and then spend time at that altar. Spend time giving gratitude. Gratitude is so powerful. You know, if you feel it, place a candle, place a flower, start to develop a relationship with this thing that you want to give your attention to in a quiet place, ideally, and return there daily. And if you feel like singing to your altar, sing. If you want to play the flute, like I do quite often, play the flute, and realize that there's a relationship that's being developed in that practice. There's a communication that's opening up. And by starting this devotional practice to whatever it is that you feel connected to in your life, you'll start to have feelings, and you'll start to, when you miss your daily practice at the altar, you'll start to feel that, and you'll feel how important it is to be connected to something other than yourself or your family, which is great. I'm all for that. Having a connection to something greater than myself and those around me has been one of the most profound teachings that I've been given in this work. Ayahuasca is a spirit. It's a plant spirit. So when we take her, we're also connecting to that spirit. And there's no reason we can't also connect to that spirit outside of ceremony. Connect to the spirit of our ancestors that got us here. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you so much. If you have a teacher or a deity that you feel called to, put that on your altar. I wish for everyone a beautiful life, a beautiful journey. Thank you for listening to this. It's a pleasure to have you here on this journey with me. I've been thinking a lot about why I'm doing this, and I'm doing it because I'm connected. This is the thing that I'm most enthusiastic about in my life. I'm most excited about, and I might be a little further along than other people are in their journey. And I would love to share with everyone listening those teachers, those traditions, those teachings, those experiences that I feel at the end of the day are about connecting with our heart and being good human beings. Like being a good human being. That's what this is all about. I wish everyone a beautiful day. Hausch, hausch.